Hey YouTubers, it's Platt and we're turning on our beer style series, and today we're going to keep talking about the different types of stouts. The particular stout we're going to talk about today is the coffee stout. Let's go over the numbers real quick. SRM is 35 and up. IBUs 15 to 35. ABV 3 to 6 plus, and I throw in the plus because this has become a kind of experimental beer that a lot of brewers like to tweak. So you might see some out there a little higher than 6, but generally 3 to 6 is the range. And temperature-wise, we'll serve this between 50 and 55 degrees. The name probably kind of gives it away, but the unique feature of this beer is that they take a traditional stout and they will steep coffee beans either into the water that they then will use to brew, or they can steep the beans while brewing, or they could even come back and steep them later in the fermentation. But the main thing is that coffee beans are steeped into this beer, and that's where they pick up the coffee flavor. Besides the addition of coffee, though, this is pretty much a traditional stout in the sense that it's very dark brown to black in color. It'll pour opaque. Carbonations on the low to medium end. You'll get mild alcohol sensation. These tend to not be very big beers as far as ABV wise. There's no real hop aroma or flavors in these beers. In the coffee stout, as far as hop bitterness, you'll go from the low end of the range, but you could, in a few examples, hit the medium range on the hop bitterness end. Like a lot of stouts, there'll be plenty of malt sweetness. In this particular beer, it comes out in kind of roasty notes, and that obviously complements the coffee. The ale yeast in this doesn't really produce any fruity esters. The beer still tends to be full-bodied, and that produces a medium finish. Food-wise, you want to pair this with something like a pork tenderloin or vanilla ice cream, and gets me thinking that would make a great kind of adult beer float. A little vanilla ice cream, a little coffee stout. That sounds great. The particular one we're going to try today is from Samuel Adams. It's their Nitro Coffee Stout. You might remember a few years back they introduced a line of Nitro beers. Nitro meaning that they use nitrogen instead of CO2 to carbonate these beers. Some of you out there might remember the old school Guinnesses that had the little cartridge in the bottle and you could just pour it all at once and the head wouldn't explode like with CO2. And that also, the nitrogen kind of produces a creamier, smoother type head or whatever. And like I said, this is their coffee stout, part of the Nitro series. The particular coffee used in this is a Sumatra coffee bean from volcanic soils in Indonesia. So it's very exotic sounding. Let's give her a try. If you probably heard that, that's the crack of the nitrogen. And you see we're pouring it out. When it first comes out, it just starts looking like chocolate milk. But then, you probably can't see it there, but if you pour this, you'll see it cascading and the darkness growing up. And that's, again, the effect nitrogen has. If I had poured just a regular beer like that, I probably would have got an overflow. So that's kind of the unique thing. If you've never had a nitrogen beer, give that a try. So let's we got a nice finger length of khaki head that's staying there. Let's give her a nose. Oh yeah, definitely malt sweetness there. The coffee's there too, but not overly dominant. Let's give her a try. Oh, that's nice. It's real nice. One of the first things that does hit me, though, is you would look at this and you're like, wow, that's going to be big beer. It's going to be big body, very, high viscosity, but not at all. This beer goes down nice. I do get the little malt sweetness punch on the tongue. I do also get some hops a little further back, a little later into this. the finish is kind of medium-ish, but you will kind of get some hop bitterness into this. Not a lot, but it brings balance. There is balance here. For those of you that might not be a big coffee drinker, don't worry about it. The coffee's there, but it doesn't dominate. Kind of like you might, if you ever tried like cappuccinos or lattes where you have the milk that kind of cuts the dominance of the espresso. There's the malt there plays with, but also kind of cuts the coffee in there. I do get just a slight hint of maybe some chocolate in the malt sweetness. But overall, this is a nice, it's a very approachable beer because, again, the viscosity, it's not so big, it's not so malty. There's just that hint of malt bitterness or hop bitterness that provides balance. The coffee's there, the sweetness is there. It's a nice viscosity. Overall, it's a pretty nice little beer. I'll take another sip. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. As always, if you got questions, comments, or concerns, you can always leave them in the comment section, or you can contact me on the Twitter page. Well, until next time, bottoms up.